God knows that there's a desire in us to be first. It's part of our fallen nature. So Jesus used this situation as a teaching moment, calling them to himself. Jesus said to them, "You know that those who are recognized as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great men exercise authority over them, but it is not this way among you." Note, it is not. So when it happens, first of all, in our heart, it is our job to address it. Not welcome it, not entertain it. Because whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you shall be slave of all. So, in a very worldly sense, we think of maybe advancement in a corporation is you climb the ladder to success, and you keep going higher. But to advance in the kingdom, according to Jesus, you move down the ladder, one rung at a time. And the lower you go, the higher you are. Because his kingdom is not of this world. We are unlearning the world's ways and adopting the kingdom's way. But as for you, are you seeking great things for yourself? Do not seek them. Now the key there is for yourself. It's not wrong to seek great things for the kingdom of God, because that's what Jesus did. But how did he do it? He finishes his teaching with the disciples, "For even the Son of Man, if anybody had the right to be served, but even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. My food is to do your will." Diotrephes loved to be first. And because he was entertaining it, and welcoming this desire into his heart and giving into it, it was creating all kinds of chaos in the church. I have this unsightly hole on the side of my leg where a cyst was removed some decades ago. And just to gross you out, I want to talk about it for a minute. So, the wound was stitched down deep inside with supposedly disposable or stitches that would disintegrate. They didn't. But that's another story. And it was to heal like open. My wound had to stay open for it to heal properly. Through the process, every couple of days, a little piece of leg muscle would jut out through the hole in my leg and start waving. "Hello, here I am." It's called, and this is true, it's called proud flesh. That's what the doctor called it. This is proud flesh. When the proud flesh poked its little muscly head through, I had to take a stick. It was kind of like wooden matches. And on the end of that stick was sulfur. And I had to take the little stick and push the muscle back down where it belongs. And it burned it away. And man, that hurt. It hurt when the doctor did it, but it was even worse when I had to do it to myself. I had to self-inflict this pain because proud flesh cannot be allowed out in the open. That's not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be behind the scenes. My overall health demanded that I fry my own flesh. I am crucified with Christ. In only 2 verses, we have the following statements made about Diotrephes. He loved to be first. He refused to welcome the apostles. He maliciously spreads gossip. He withholds hospitality from other believers and strangers. He requires others to follow his poor example, and he excommunicates anyone who crosses him. So he's not only a member, he's a leader who's become a dictator. It never ceases to amaze me how quickly power can corrupt. It's proud flesh. And there's really only one cure for it. Kill it. Now, it is possible that Pastor Gaius and probably a leadership team set this man up in a leadership position. And let me say, it's a whole lot easier to give authority than it is to take it back. Some of those 1 Timothy guidelines where we learn these are the qualifications you would like to see in an elder, and then secondly, you would like to see in a deacon. Some of those 1 Timothy guidelines obviously had been skipped. And the church was paying the price for that. Some of those 1 Timothy guidelines include not being pugnacious. I just like saying that word. Diotrephes was most definitely pugnacious, meaning he was given to fighting. His first thought was to be quarrelsome. He was not gentle, not prudent, not temperate, not hospitable. And we could probably spend 2 or 3 services just focusing on this guy's poor qualities. But I just want to pinpoint one. Unjustly accusing with wicked words. There are 6 things which the Lord hates. Yes, 7 which are an abomination to him. It's kind of funny when you think about it, actually. There's 6 things. No, wait. There's 7 things the Lord hates. Hate is a pretty strong word. Here's number 6 and 7. A false witness who utters lies, and one who spreads strife among brothers. God hates that. That's Diotrephes. Now, I'm not saying this guy wasn't saved. I don't know if he's saved or not. We might find him in heaven. But he was certainly not representing the kingdom of God. In his walk, in his leadership, he was tearing people down. How many know that is not a gift of the Spirit? God hates that. At our men's retreat last weekend, our speaker gave us 4 little phrases to talk about, and I put them in this month's newsletter. I thought they were good conversation. Number 1 is, if you see me doing something wrong, oops, I don't have them on the screen. If you see me do something wrong, talk to me. Isn't that good? That's just Matthew chapter 18. Hey, if your brother sins, go talk to your brother. If your brother sins, it doesn't say go talk to another brother. If you see me do something wrong, talk to me. Number 2, if someone attacks me, defend me. like Nehemiah, who rallied people to look to God and then fight for each other. Number 3, if someone accuses me, assume, not the worst, assume that I'm innocent, because love bears all things, believes all things, and hopes all things. And finally, if I do mess up, love me. Brethren, even if anyone is caught in any trespass, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness, each one looking to yourself, so that you too will not be tempted. We're all cut from the same cloth. Now, none of those are a justification for sin. Rather, the attitude that we have for one another. Believing the best about what God's doing in your life should be our attitude toward one another. If God is for us, shouldn't we be for each other? Now, we don't know why Diotrephes was entrusted with leadership in this church. Maybe he was a good manager. He was perhaps able to fill a needed position in the moment. And perhaps the leadership of the church in that moment of need inadvertently created a much bigger problem. It's easy to do. But John gives us some really good advice, verse 11. And he starts with, beloved, reminding you that you've been agaped. Hey, beloved, don't imitate what is evil. We are prone to jump on bandwagons fairly quickly. We are, after all, sheep. We're herd animals. We kind of go along with the herd sometimes. Beloved, you've been given a totally different spirit. You're in a different kingdom than you were before. Don't imitate what's evil. If it doesn't smell right, it probably is not right. Don't imitate the evil, but imitate what is good.
Hey guys, if you like this content, please consider subscribing for more.